anxiety, depression, extreme fatigue, painful sex. Now that I got your attention, I'm gonna talk about endometriosis today. Before I even start, I feel like it's important that I give you the definition of what endometriosis is, because I can't even tell you how many times I've told people that I have endometriosis and they're like, what is that? And I explain it to them, but I just feel like it's getting to the point where people need to know about this. It's when the endometrial-like tissue grows on other parts of your body, like on other organs, like your bladder, your bowel, your uterus, fallopian tubes, diaphragm, your lungs. It can grow anywhere. I wrote down all of my symptoms so that I don't forget any, and I probably am still forgetting some. Yeah, cramps, painful sex, pain during urination, spotting in between periods, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, migraines, lower back pain, painful bowel movements, fatigue, food intolerances, frequent urination, frequent urge to urinate, gas pains, depression, anxiety, insomnia. I feel like I'm still missing some. Like, the list goes on. And I have been suffering for over 10 years. I have been experiencing endometriosis symptoms probably since I was like 16 years old. I'm 28 now. When I was 18, I went to my doctor. I told her that I was experiencing XYZ, and she was like, you have all the symptoms of endometriosis. And I was lucky because there are so many women that for years they don't get told that that's what it is. The only way to actually be diagnosed is through surgery. A lot of times it won't come up on ultrasounds. I've had only 2 ultrasounds done in the past 10 years, which is kind of sad too, but MRIs, it won't show up a lot of times. You really, in order to be diagnosed, is through the surgery. So I've gone to, now at this point, 3 specialists, and finally decided that it was time for me to have the surgery. I think like as the years went on, I just really learned how to deal with it. I missed out on many events. New Year's, my family had to separate because we were supposed to go somewhere together, and I really wanted to go. I'm trying, and I'm like, I literally cannot leave this house. I'm in so much pain. I often think about a time I was like 18, 19 years old and I had my period. I was in the worst pain, and I went to Six Flags with my family, and the entire time I was literally dying. Like, I'm on roller coasters and I feel like someone's ripping my insides out. It was crazy, but I still went because I wanted to enjoy myself, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let this stop me. And yeah, that was what I did for a long time, and I just learned how to deal with it. But now that I'm 28 years old, I'm like, how long am I gonna deal with this for? There were 2 main reasons why I decided that it was time to see a specialist. I was bartending, so being on my feet 10 to 12 hours, I was literally dying. And I'm like, other people complain, but I really don't think that people are understanding the pain. Like, it got to the point where my lower back, so my sciatic nerve, was in so much pain that it was going all the way down my legs to my toes, and my toes were numb. And I literally had to quit my job. I couldn't take it anymore. I ended up getting a cortisone shot in my foot. It helped for a little bit, but I'm like, okay, you know what? I have a feeling that it's not because I have extremely flat feet, which I do. I'm sure that contributed to it, but this has to be my endometriosis. So it's time for me to finally take that step and go to see a specialist. So that was the first reason why. Second reason was, and I feel like many women will be able to relate to this, many women that have endometriosis. I was tired of just being and feeling like I wasn't being heard by my doctors. There just comes a point where taking ibuprofen and being on birth control is not enough. That's not gonna resolve the issue. I did my research. I found a doctor that had amazing reviews, literally not one bad review about this man. I just called to make an appointment for a consultation. I went in, and my doctor, Dr. Boz, I'm gonna put his information somewhere so that you can look him up too, because he's truly amazing. Amazing bedside manner. Right off the bat, I just felt comfortable. I came in literally with this book and I was like, this is all my symptoms. And he was like, yeah, like you 100% have endometriosis. And on top of that, you have like 5 or 6 fibroids. So yeah, he was like, I'll remove those too. Like he does both. I'm like, perfect. No joke. 2 weeks later, I was at a hospital getting my surgery done within 2 weeks after meeting with him. The first time in 10, and I don't want to say in 10 years, because my first doctor that told me that I had endometriosis, she made me feel seen. But for the 10 years in between that, I hadn't felt seen until I walked into Dr. Boz's office. Went to get the surgery done. He was like, I do surgery on girls your age all the time, like same symptoms. This is going to be 2 to 3 hours and I'll go home the same day. I'm like, perfect. But deep down, I'm like, okay, I feel like he's kind of underestimating how bad the situation is. And I just had a feeling when he went in, he was gonna be in for a surprise. And boy, was I right. I wanna say 3 hours into the surgery, my mom is still in the waiting room. She's like, where is my child? Why is this surgery still going on? So she was worried, and she finally got a call from one of the nurses, and she told my mom that everything was going well, I was doing well, but there was way more endometriosis than the doctor expected, and he was taking his time with me. So yeah, my surgery ended up being like 5 hours. Woke up, ended up having to stay the night because surgery just took way longer than they expected. Well, by the time everything was done, it was like super late, and they were like, she's better off staying here anyway. I'm glad I stayed in the hospital instead of going home, because that was a rough 24 hours for me after that. I'm not gonna lie. When the surgery was over, doctor came out to my mom and he hugged her and he was like, I changed your daughter's life. I changed your daughter's life forever. He was like, severe stage 4 endometriosis. And my mom was like, whoa, like, because that was going to be her first question, like, what stage was it? So for people that don't know, there's 4 stages, 4 being the worst, and that was me. Severe stage 4, he joked around and said like practically stage 5 endometriosis. If that was a thing, that's what I was. My ovaries were pushed to the back onto my bowel, which was pushing onto my sciatic nerve, which is why I was having the pain in my lower back all the way down to my feet. That also was causing the bloating and the food intolerance and all the issues. It was a relief. I remember waking up and seeing my sister, and she was like, girl, how have you been living like this for this many years? And I'm like, I just got used to it. I just learned to live with it. But it made me super emotional. No one should have to go through the pain and experience that I did for so long. It just makes me sad that it took this long for me to have that actual validation. So that was big for me. I had 5 incisions. He removed all of my fibroids, which they were even bigger than what he expected as well. Everything was just, it was a lot. It's like hard to talk about. I can do so many videos and go like deeper into the toll that it really took on like my mental health and my relationships, romantic relationships. It took a toll on my romantic relationships for sure, because sex is an important part of a relationship, and when that shit is painful, you don't want to do it. And this is supposed to be my prime. Like, I'm supposed to be enjoying this, and I'm literally not. You feel like there's something wrong with you. It's just not a good feeling. It's like a mental thing too. Like, you can't really relax. You're tensing up because you're anticipating the pain. Like, I could really go into real detail about that, but I'm sure my parents are watching and not sure that they want to hear about that, but I could do another video where they don't have to watch it. But yeah, so I am 2.5, almost 3 months post-op, and I've been saying that I wanted to make a video discussing my journey because I just want people to know that they're not alone. And I waited for 2 reasons. I wanted to see what my first period was like after surgery, and it was important for me to make this video after going to see my OBGYN again. So I went today for my annual, and also I wanted to do this video and make sure that it's out before Black History Month ends, because I feel like specifically Black women and women of color, people just don't really respect us or listen when we talk about the pain that we're experiencing. So we're not believed, and we're often dismissed, not listened to, not taken serious. We know that's an issue in the medical field. It's really important for Black women and women of color to advocate for yourself. I didn't want to come on here and lie and say that my surgery was a success and I didn't know for sure. And I feel like if things change, I can make another video, and what if that happens, which God willing it does not, I'll talk about that too. I've had my first period, no pain. For the first time in years. I had like the dullest pain. I've never experienced a period like that before, where I literally had like little to no pain. The only thing I would say is that it was probably like the heaviest flow I've had in years, which I feel like kind of makes sense. Just had surgery 2.5 months ago. I'm not surprised that it was really heavy, but as far as pain goes, literally nothing. So that's a win for me. And then I also just felt like it was important for me as a Black woman to make this video to tell women that they need to advocate for themselves. I had my GYN appointment, my annual, today, and when I went in there, I was like, I need to make sure that when I go in there, I let the doctor know that I felt dismissed the last time that she saw me. Maybe that's the pettiness in me, because why even go back, right? But I just felt like it was my duty to let her know that she disappointed me. She can't change what happened with me and her experience with me, but like hopefully me saying something to her will make her take a beat and actually not be so quick to just rush someone out, or you know, maybe the next girl that goes in and tells her that she's experiencing what I'm experiencing, she won't be dismissed because I went in today and I told her how I felt. I told her that during our last telehealth visit, that when she mentioned the fibroids, I asked her if that was the reason why I was experiencing pain during urination and the frequent urge to urinate. And she told me no, that the fibroids were too small. So when I mentioned it to her today, she went right away, looked at her chart, nothing in the chart about me mentioning the frequent urination and stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, I know for a fact that I did. I said to her, I know that I mentioned it because you told me that the fibroids were too small. And I just wanted you to know that when I left, I felt extremely dismissed and unheard. And that is the reason why I made the decision to go see a specialist finally. And she looked at me and she apologized and she gave me a hug. And it made me really emotional, but not because she apologized to me or because she gave me a hug, because honestly, like, okay, like I appreciate the apology, but it's not enough. And she said, you know, I'm so sorry, they overbook, and while I'm on a telehealth visit with one patient, I'm getting messages about another patient, so I may have overlooked it. I'm just like, okay, but I still feel like that's still not an excuse for dismissing someone's pain. And she apologized so many times. She said sorry so many times, and I'm just like, thank you. Like, I appreciate the apology. It does mean a lot that someone is able to acknowledge that they made a mistake, but I also just, for me, it was more important. And I think why I felt emotional was because I think this was only the second time as an adult where I made the decision to advocate for myself, to speak up, and put myself first. Because I think oftentimes I am worrying about everybody else and how this is going to affect this person or whatever. And like, I was even nervous when I walked in. I was like, oh my God, like I'm nervous. I don't want to like confront the doctor. At this point, like I've been failed so many times. Girl, it's time to put yourself first. We're going to apply the pressure this year. We're going to put ourselves first. We're going to take care of our health. We're not going to put a price on our health, right? Because I'm trying to live my life. Like, I'm trying to enjoy the last 2 years of my 20s. I want to enjoy my 30s. If I want to have kids, I want to be able to have kids. Nobody is going to advocate for you like you are for yourself. Nobody's going to care about you like you do for yourself. It was a big moment for me today. And I'm really proud of myself. I just hope that I made it easier for like the next person. That is what's important to me. Like, I just don't want anyone to like have to experience what I've experienced. And I've gone through a lot, and I can go into more detail about it in another video. This is just a quick like endo journey video, but if we want to talk about it, we could really talk about it. But yeah, so this is a big day for me. Really proud of myself for speaking up, and I feel like my life is just starting like now at 28. Ooh, I need a tissue, baby. It's a lot, but I wouldn't change anything about like my journey because it's mine. And it made me who I am today. I'm a tough ass bitch. I am strong as hell, and I've been through it. Nobody can fuck with me. I'm just so excited and looking forward to just experiencing life with no pain, even if it's just for a little while. Like, I'm just so grateful. I know that I went through this for a reason, for many reasons. Like, I know that it's made me who I am today, and it's going to continue to make me like the person that I already am, like deep down inside, right? But I just know that I was like meant to speak on it and hopefully change other women's lives. I want other women to be able to like experience the joy and happiness that I'm experiencing now. I'm trying to live a pain-free life now. So if people have questions or want to know more, There's so much to talk about, so much to discuss. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.